Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome in across the continent and beyond. We've got over 1,300 kids today from all over Canada, the US, Brazil, Spain, Nicaragua, and more. It's a wild ride, and so many of you are new to us. So, if you are new to us at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world through like 40 live, free, monthly interactive broadcasts. Come back and join us for more. There's lots on the go. And as you may or may not know, everything we do goes live to our YouTube channel. So if you want to check out this program in like 3 weeks or 3 years, you can head to our YouTube channel and do just that. Now, you're catching us on a very exciting day. The reason you're all here, of course, is because we are continuing with our epic peak discovery series. So all year long, for years now, we partner with the amazing folks at Canada's mountain parks in Alberta and British Columbia. These are some of the most special places, not just in Canada, but in the entire world. And we have shared dozens now of some of the coolest stories of their wildlife, culture, history, amazing team, and more. You can catch all those, as I said, on our YouTube channel. Now, before I highlight our speaker du jour and our amazing topic that I'm particularly excited about, I want to note we do have a Kahoot today. So between our talk and our Q&A, you can play along with a little 4-question quiz with this game pin and join us for a little bit of fun and some bragging rights in the middle of the show. But without further ado, we are back at Waterton Lakes National Park in lovely Alberta with Brett Hutchinson. He is one of the most featured educators we have here on Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And today, he is going to talk to us about a new Grizzly HQ. Grizzly bears are one of the coolest animals on planet Earth. There's no debate to be had. They've won. They're there. They're at the top upper echelon. And so I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about them from such an amazing educator. Brett, thank you so much for coming back. Welcome back to the program, man, and take us away. And stop, take a break for a second because your audio has done something weird. Brett, we were good like mere seconds ago. Something should go wrong in every video broadcast. That's okay.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We're good.
We're good. Okay. Something's going to go wrong, but we got it done at the beginning, so that's perfect. Thanks a lot, Jesse. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. First off, hello, bonjour, Oki. Thanks so much for joining us, student explorers, today. My name is Brett, like Jesse said, and welcome to the beautiful Waterton Lakes National Park. Now, I am streaming into your classroom today from beautiful, windy, and warm southern Alberta, Canada. Alberta is known for its Rocky Mountain National Parks. Now, these parks are not only beautiful, but they are home to unique and incredible wildlife. Now, before we begin today, I would like to acknowledge that I am presenting today in the territories of the Siksika-Sitapi, the Kainai, the Bikani, the Siksika, and Amskapi Bikani. Waterton Lakes, or Baktamaksikmi, falls within Treaty 7 territory, which includes the Tsuut'ina Nation, Stoney Nakoda, the Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. The Ktunaxa Nation have a connection to Baktamaksikmi, and members of Métis Nation Region 3 currently reside in the Baktamaksikmi area. The lands and waters of Baktamaksikmi have been used for millennia by Indigenous people for sustenance, ceremony, trade, and travel. I would like to thank them today for their continuous stewardship and for sharing this land with us. Now today, I'm so excited, guys. We get to meet the big boss of the Rocky Mountains. We get to meet the grizzly bear. Together, we will discover what kind of habitat makes an ideal home for a grizzly. And along the way, we will meet many other animals that benefit from living in Grizzly Bear HQ. Now, Waterton is home to many bears. We got this cute little video of this grizzly bear rubbing against a tree there. It's home to many bears. The park itself is small, but our scientists estimate that Waterton has about 90 black bears that roam this area and about 30 grizzly bears that consider Waterton home. We're just going to replay this video again because it's so cool. That's a lot of bears for a pretty small park. We can see this grizzly bear roaming through the park here, caught on one of our wildlife cameras, and it's really thrilling to see a grizzly in the wild. And once upon a time, it may not have been such a rare sight. Now, grizzly bears used to live all over Western North America. In fact, hundreds of years ago, you could find grizzly bears as far south as Mexico and as far east as Manitoba. Now, grizzlies are big animals. An animal as big as these bears needs plenty of uninterrupted, or as we call it, unfragmented space to live. Ideally, a single male grizzly bear needs over 1,000 square kilometers of this unfragmented land. That means no roads and no cities to meet all of its needs. Now, Waterton is only about 500 square kilometers, so that is double the size of this national park. Today, you can only find grizzly bears in a much smaller area, only in the northwestern part of North America. The population is quite small compared to what it once was. Now, the grizzly, because its population has declined and its space that it lives in has limited so much, it's been officially designated as a species of special concern, meaning that scientists are worried that grizzly bear habitat may be completely disappearing. And scientists are working hard to protect the spaces that this bear calls home. As settlers began to build cities, farms, and roads all across North America, grizzly bears' space, they just had far less unfragmented space to live in. Their areas just got a lot smaller, which meant our grizzly bears were kind of kept into small spaces. That meant much more competition for food, a lot more competition for precious habitat, and even just a lot harder to find a mate. As people moved in, grizzly bears, they packed their bags and they moved out. Now, there's just simply not enough unfragmented land in North America to support a large grizzly bear population. But I am very excited today. We have a super special guest joining us to talk about grizzly bear habitat. A very well-connected, modern, techno-savvy grizzly bear has some big news to share with us. He is looking to move to Waterton. Folks, I gotta tell you, this is a huge, huge deal. The park is very excited to welcome this celebrity of the natural world. Now, in all your classrooms right now, I want you to do a drum roll on your desk. We introduce this big boss, which is known everywhere. He is a world-class ecosystem engineer. He shapes the environment around him. Maybe you love him, maybe you fear him, but you certainly know him. Everybody, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Mr. Jeff Bezos. Hey, y'all, let me introduce myself. You may recognize me by my appearance, but in case you don't, I'm a grizzly bear. I'm big, I'm strong, and I have giant claws and quite an adorable face. Is this your first celebrity sighting? Oh, take a moment. Just drink it in out there. Drink it in. Please, don't get me confused with those beta black bears out there. There are some major differences between us grizzly bears and those guys. Now look at these two photos on the screen. What differences can you just see right now between us strong grizzly bears and the black bear? Now, let's go into the chat. Type in what differences you can see between these two in the chat.
All right. And whenever we highlight things in the chat, I know we've got a big audience today, so please feel free on our YouTube chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but what do you see between our grizzly bear and our black bear friends here? Again, folks in Calgary, Hamilton, Castlegar, BC, and more. So nice to have so many of you, not to mention our live StreamYard classes. Let's see. We've got, of course, brown fur, black fur. We've got big ears on the right. We've got, let's see, our Nicaragua. One is more brown, of course. Yeah. Shaggy fur. Our brown bear looks like he doesn't quite have a leg there, but maybe that's just hiding behind him. I think that's probably the case. Let's see what else we've got. We've got big hump on the back of the brown bear, so a big thing right behind his head. You guys are like on the ball. One is in the water, so maybe hunting fish for our black bear on the right. Great answers. Got a longer nose for our brown bear friend. One is cool, one is less cool. Brett, I think they're on board.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. You got so many of the key differences between us grizzly bears and those black bears. You may notice I saw somebody talking about that hump that's on my back right there. That's a big shoulder hump. That's a big muscle that I developed while digging for roots and flipping huge rocks and boulders, looking for tasty grubs and other treats Those CrossFit bros out there, they got nothing on me. Black bears don't have this hump. And yet we had somebody who mentioned my cute little ears. You may notice that these things are cute and round, and they're pretty close to my head. Where the black bear, they got those longer ears, almost like a dog. Gross. In color. You guys nailed that one too. My name is Grizzly, and it comes from my grizzled appearance. I always try to be this beautiful rustic shade of brown with my signature silver highlights. All natural, by the way, no product at all. Black bears, they come in all sorts of colors as well, not just black. And one thing you couldn't necessarily see is these claws. If you look at those black bear claws, they're so tiny and compared to my huge my huge grizzly bear claws. So tiny compared to my own formidable set. Now, I know I'm one of the most majestic animals in the world. At least that's what people are saying. But folks come from all over just to see me. I don't love the spotlight, but what can you do when you're as captivating as I am? Now, bears and people, they actually have a lot of lifestyle choices in common. By that, I mean we are opportunivores. We're both omnivores, meaning we eat plants and animals. And although I certainly won't say no to a delicious deer, my diet is about 90% plants. I gotta eat clean to keep this body. Now, listen, I am a bear. I do not do cold weather. I hibernate for the winter. So I must get all my eating done in just a few months. This means I don't like to burn a lot of calories to catch my prey. Whatever is easy to get at, that is what I want. And here in Waterton, berries. Berries are my favorite. They're sugar-filled and calorie-rich. I can eat berries nonstop, no break for 20 hours, no cap on that. I can consume close to 100,000 calories a day in berries. Now, if I do some quick math in my head, that is the equivalent of about 1,282 boiled eggs. Can you eat that many eggs in a day? I bet not. I want to pack on pounds and spend my days eating away with little to no interruption. Now, we grizzlies are habitat generalists. I can live just about anywhere. I just need lots of easily accessible food and so much space. I'm a big bear. I need big land. But it's getting harder to find a home with all these people out there. New cities and roads just popping up. So some grizzly bears, they're looking to the past. But me, I look to the future. Cities are everywhere. Roads keep coming. We're not going to get rid of them. So innovation must be had. So I look to a national park. A national park has lots of land, no big cities, and only a few roads. To me, it's a no-brainer. This is the perfect place to establish my new headquarters. Waterton, you're oh so lucky because I have selected you. Now, Waterton is a unique park, so diverse. There are mountains, wetlands, and even grasslands, each a unique ecosystem where a grizzly bear could make a pretty good life. So, I'm reaching out to the ecosystems of Waterton. Today, you each have an incredible opportunity to pitch me. Why is your ecosystem the one that should be the home of the new Grizzly Bear HQ? Now, if I choose your ecosystem to be part of my home range, will you ever benefit? I'm not one to brag, but I am a grizzly bear. Wherever I live, that place gets extra special attention. I am a species of special concern. So when I move into a habitat, you immediately get protection. Your ecosystem has little chance of becoming a parking lot if scientists know that grizzly bears are around. Furthermore, you might remember my job title, ecosystem engineer. I positively alter the environment around me simply by going about my day. I love to dig. You know what that does? That aerates the soil. It helps grasses grow.
My big range paired with my ample droppings means I spread shrub and berry seeds far and wide. I even help deer and rodent populations balance by including these creatures in my diet. I keep whatever ecosystem I live in healthy, diverse, and thriving. So I offer you plenty. Now, ecosystems of Waterton, what do you have to offer me? So I've got 3 pitch videos from 3 different ecosystems in Waterton. I haven't watched them yet, so we're all going to watch them together. And as a group, we're going to decide which one would be best for me to move to. So first one we're going to watch is the wetlands.
Hi, I'm Sally the long-toed salamander, coming to you from the wildlife crossings of Waterton, and I'm pitching for the wetlands. Here in the aquatic zones, including the wetland, we have such a variety of wildlife in small critters, just like me. There's 6 kinds of amphibians, as well as 22 different fish, and lots of birds. Well, don't forget the bugs. We also have tons of mosquitoes. Here in the wetlands, the water is more shallow and moves real slow, so lots of things can grow here. As for animals, well, all of you guys need water, but here in the wetlands, it's an ideal spot for beavers, and that's a good snack for you. The main road to Waterton's town site is here in the entrance of the park. It's a really big area, and so it means there's lots of less accessible spots for humans. However, it can get busy with cars, bikes, paddlers, and bird watchers. But still, you can avoid them. I avoid them by using these special underpasses built just for me. Crossing the road used to be a nightmare for me and my kind. So many of us perished. But now, us salamanders, we have these underground crossings to avoid losses. But you wouldn't fit, so you do still have to cross the road. We hope to see you this summer in the wetlands!
Brett, your audio's cut out again, buddy. Sorry. We heard the salamander, though. It's half the battle.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, you're good.
We just needed to wait a second.
I think so.
Jeff bears us over here. I know my technology, so I got it sorted on my end. Don't you worry. So that was great, but I was hoping we could go to some of the classrooms to go through some pros and cons. What's good? What's bad about that site? What did they have that I'd like? What did they have that's not so good? Maybe we could throw some answers in the chat and work together on this one.
Absolutely. All right. So our wetlands, the salamander made a pretty good pitch, but if you've got any thoughts for us in the chat on some good things, bad things, how might a grizzly bear fit in that habitat? What do we think? So we've got that pro access to water. So yes, great to be able to have water you need to drink. That's fantastic. Some of the tunnels for crossing roads might be too small for our grizzly bear though. So if they're good for salamanders, might be a little too much of a squeeze. Con is way too many people. So wetlands are popular. There's a lot of folks there. Can't really get away, get your own space. Not many berries, not enough trees. Lots of space for bears. So we're getting a good mix here. We got there's space, but maybe not the right things that they need. We've got water, but maybe too many people. Could be fish or food for the grizzly bear. So lots of thoughts, Brett. These are great.
Yeah, that's all great, guys. Really good thinking through this. I do like eating fish, but the fish in here seems pretty hard. I've seen videos of those fish up north where the fish just jump at them. That seems great, but it doesn't look like we have that here. So I would prefer to eat some seeds and berries. And that salamander tunnel that was helping Sal across the road there, that's really innovative. That's some good stuff, but it wouldn't work for me. I'm too big. I'm too strong. And lots of water means not a ton of land to roam. I do love a good swim on a hot day, but can't spend all my time in the water. And that grass grown right by the lake there, also known as the riparian area, is full of tasty roots and bugs. It could work, but let's see what other pitches we have come in. I'm not completely sold, so wonder who's next.
Hi, I'm Clark, the Clark's Nutcracker, and welcome to the forest of the subalpine. I gotta say, it's pretty fun. We've seen a lot of you around here, and we want to champion you to stick around. I know life can be a little harder here. It's colder and higher up. We have lots of shade, but we also have lots of berries. And of course, the food we both love, the seeds of the whitebark pine, nutritious and delicious. I'm not like you. I don't have a varied diet as I only eat seeds, and I'm one of the only ones that can get the seeds out of the closed whitebark pine cones. But I've seen some grizzlies in my travels, and I know that you can find caches of seeds in the ground, buried by the red squirrel. Doesn't really bug me if you take those. Those squirrels are so chatty. Here where I am is Cameron Lake in Waterton. You probably don't want to be here as it's a busy place for people and black bears, but there are some other subalpine environments in Waterton that are less visited. You will have to climb a mountain to get here, but these seeds are worth the climb. The whitebark pine is an endangered tree, but hopefully if this ecosystem gets some attention, then my main favorite food has a chance. Hope to see you this summer, Jeff, in the forest of the subalpine.
It's pretty good pitch. Brett, we'll wait for the audio to come back. It's thinking about it again.
Check. Check one, check two.
Check two. Jeff Bezos, we're in. We're good. Pros and
Jeff
cons.
Bezos on the mic. Here I am. Sweet. Pros and cons, everyone. That place looked pretty nice.
That's pretty nice. Now, our audience, you guys were really on the ball last time in pros and cons. We've got mosquitoes might be annoying. That's interesting.
Okay.
We've got okay. What else we got? Let's see. Any cons? Again, maybe too many people. I don't know, trails that are walkable. So we're really worried. We got a lot of groups worried about bears running into people because people and bears, I don't know, you wouldn't necessarily want to run into a bear on a trail. Pro, lots of yummy berries, trees, caches of food, not enough water though, not like the wetland. Great answers, everyone. Many trees and berries to eat. We highlighted that berries are their main food earlier. Lots of people. Those are our cons. So berries, people. I don't know. We have to climb a mountain. It's tiring. I don't know if the bears find it that tiring, Brett. Great answers.
I will say, mosquitoes, I got such thick fur and big muscles that I don't really feel them too much. And yeah, that came in the right place. Like, lots of concrete. It seems like a lot of people would be there in the summer. But those mountains and forests, like if I kind of venture off a little further away, there might be less people. And I think there's only one road up there. But those berries, and I do love whitebark pine tree seeds. They're full of fat and protein. And to get yolk like me and to get these muscles, you need a lot of protein. Have you ever tried them? They're delicious. I really recommend them.
Sounds pretty good.
It's pretty ideal, but the whitebark pine tree, it is endangered. So it is also at risk. So I think that might be something I need to consider as well.
Yeah.
We got one more pick for you folks. So
one more pick, and I'll say as we play that video, if you want to unmuffle any audio you got, it's a little hiding right now. It's kind of hard to hear you. So we'll play.
I'll work on that on my end.
There we go. Perfect. All right, let's check out our third habitat du jour.
Hello, Jeff. Edie the Bison here. Welcome to the grasslands.
What a big open area to feast to your heart's content. My ancestors tell of the prairie's past, and you were a part of them. This is an ideal place to hang out for a grizzly with lots of flowers, seeds, insects, and berries. The only problem out here is that the wild grasslands are a pretty small place. Most of the grasslands is now agriculture land with cows, not bison, and lots of people. But the area surrounding Waterton is largely protected.
Lots of people are happy to see grizzlies now. Just watch out for the electric fences. Stick to what you generally eat and don't go steal a calf or someone's pet. I've seen more and more grizzlies around here, and that's really cruel. This could be you,
Huh.
I think people kind of forget that so many of us used to call the grasslands home and that we are really important to the ecosystem. I've been making a comeback, and so should you. I hope to see you this summer in Waterton.
Fantastic. All right. Brett, we added some pros and cons coming in already. 3, 2, it's coming back. Your audio. No, not so good. There you go. Now you're good.
Check one. Check one.
You're back. You're good.
I'm good. I'm not muffled. Okay, here we go.
Okay, we got
maybe let's. What are some of the pros and cons that you folks heard?
They are so on the ball. We got cons. There aren't a lot of places to hide and rest. Too flat, too many cows. Agricultural land's not the best. Not enough shade. That's a really interesting point from Miss Henry's group. Lots of berries. Yum. Lots of food, but way too many fences. Man, this is like one of the best audiences we've had ever. Lots of seeds. So maybe lots of food, but it's really 4 other animals now, and we've sort of taken over the land that used to be with the grizzly, and not enough water, and not so grassland. I think is getting the most cons of any of the 3 that we've shared so far.
Okay, heard, guys, heard. It is the home of my ancestors, though. We grizzlies evolved on the grasslands, but these days, yeah, those farms and those big machines and lots of people, I am not too sure. Now, Waterton's grasslands are farm and people free because they're in the park, but this means that there might be also a lot of other competition in these such a small space, and I'm not known to share. So let's review. The grassland, they have some good eating opportunities, but not a ton of space for me to wander because of all that water. The subalpine has a lot of my favorite food, but I'd have to climb a mountain to get there, and there's people and roads up there. And the grasslands, it is my ancestral land, but in Waterton, it might be a little too crowded for me. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Like any good businessman, I'm going to leave it to my board, my trusty board, to vote on where we should move the Grizzly Bear headquarters. Now, I want you all to have a vote. Is it grasslands? Is it wetlands? Or is it the forest subalpine? Now, throw it into the chat and let's find out where I should move to.
I'm so interested what our audience is going to pick for this. We got our 2 StreamYard classes. So many of you folks on YouTube. I don't know. For me personally, and I did not see this presentation in advance. I don't know what we really want to do. I would say forest subalpine sounds pretty good to me. I think we had a pretty good pitch from that, but that's just my personal take. We got any other things? Grasslands, Buchanan School, grade 6s. Okay, fantastic. You're our first one to chime in. Well, forest subalpine for Miss Dumaine and Miss Pereira's class. What else we got? Okay, so we got 2 for forest, 1 for grasslands. We've got 3 for subalpine. Okay, no one's picking wetlands. We've eliminated that area. Maybe. I don't know. Any other 2 for? Oh my goodness, more subalpine. Okay. I think people are on my side here, which is great.
Yeah, I think 4-1 forest subalpine to grassland. To me, that's a pretty stark choice that people have done. So, forest subalpine.
Yay! We won! Thanks for choosing the subalpine and protecting our ecosystem.
That's great, guys. I'm going to move up to the forest subalpine. I'm going to start packing my bags and moving up there now. Thank you so much for helping me choose today. This area will greatly benefit from my presence. Subalpine, you are moving up. Well, more up in the world. Again, thank you all for helping me decide, and thank you for your pitches, ecosystems. Eventually, I'll make my way to see all of you. Remember, even if the subalpine is my home, a guy like me has got to wander. Now, see you in my new HQ. Now, I'm going to go out and grab Brett back so he can come and chat with you guys for a little bit longer. See you guys around.
See you guys around, Jeff Bezos. And as you're pulling that up and we get our Brett back, we are going to play our little Kahoot together, see who's paying attention, have some fun, do some questions related to our Grizzly friends. And so if you want to pull up this game pin, please feel free to do that. If you're new to Kahoot, the faster you answer, the more points you get. And what you win is Brett and I's everlasting respect, which is pretty cool. So feel free to chime in with that. We're going to get going with that in just a second, and then we are going to head to our classes for questions. There's so many of you on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you all over the course of the Q&A together. Brett's back with us. Hello, Brett. You disappeared the whole program. I talked you up so much at the beginning, how great an educator you were, and then you disappeared for like half an hour. I don't know.
Yeah, I got a phone call and I saw a bear walking out of my classroom. So I guess I missed it.
Well, you can help us out with this Kahoot anyway. And then we've got all sorts of great questions to come. But let's get started and do this thing, folks. Here we go. Okay. New Grizzly HQ. Our first question, who is paying attention at the very beginning and where we might be today? All right. I know we got a lot of folks in this province, but if you're not, this might be a little tricky. What province is Waterton Lakes National Park in? Is it Ontario, Newfoundland, where I am, Alberta, or British Columbia? Let's get those answers in. One answer so far. Put them in. You got 9 seconds. Brett, you're not in Newfoundland with me. You're too far away.
I know Ontario is famous for rocks and trees. I'm not sure they have mountains, though.
No. And so Alberta is our clear winner. All our Alberta classes came through. Way to go, everybody. Okay. Inspired Dragon has our lead as we go to question 2. Grizzly bears are a subspecies of what? What kind of bear are grizzly bears? Are they polar bears? Are they black bears? Are they brown bears? Or are they panda bears in like real disguise? Like totally like a...
just like a mask and you pull it off and there's a red panda underneath.
It's so shocking. That would be the biggest finding in biology of all time. They're all just...
I would shock the world.
10. Oh, we mixed up a few. Yes, brown bears. Grizzly bears are brown bears. So are Kodiak bears you might have heard of. There's another few subspecies of black bear or of brown bear out there. Geez, mixing it up in my answer. But Inspired Dragon keeps our lead as we go to question 3. All right. What? Multi-select. Oh, that's weird. Oh, would you like to see a grizzly someday at Waterton Lakes? Yes or no? There's no points for this. I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Who wants to go to see it? This got mixed up with question 4. See, everything's going a little strange today. That's half the fun. Got to be a little weird. All right. Who wants to come see grizzlies? I'm hoping for all yeses. Grizzlies rock. They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool. They're really cool when you can get to see them.
Ooh, 7 people prefer squirrels, but most of you prefer grizzlies. Okay. So we've done squirrel programs before, but I would say grizzlies definitely wins.
To those squirrel lovers out there, we got tons of squirrels here.
Tons of squirrels. All the squirrels. All right. What's a grizzly bear's favorite food? Is it fish, deer, berries, or giraffes? Which would also be a shock because they wouldn't get many of them because there are none in Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah. No giraffes. That's one thing that's lacking in our Peak Discovery series. We've never featured a giraffe, but berries is our overwhelming correct answer. Way to go, everybody. All right. Let's check our podium. Drum roll again. And then YouTubers, please do share your questions. We'd love to hear from you. Anything you want to know. Miss Dumaine, Prescott's class, you guys live on StreamYard. Share in the chat too. All right. Our winner, Inspired Dragon, covered it end to end, wire to wire. Way to go, guys. Well, thank you for playing along with that. And our first question has come through, Brett, which is, why are there electric fences? So we highlighted this grassland ecosystem. What's the deal? What's going on there? Why are grizzlies having a little bit of trouble getting around?
Yeah, so these electric fences, you'll primarily see them out on ranches or kind of on other farms out there. They're just to keep their livestock within their plot of land. So it's the same as like a barbed wire fence. It's the same way that we have a fence in our backyard to kind of just say, this is our plot of land. What's in this yard is ours. Same thing with the electric fences. It's just a way to keep their cattle, their farm animals just in one space.
Yep. So it's great for the people of Alberta. It's great for the animals. It allows us to have all that great meat that we have in our grocery stores, but it does present a bit of a challenge for our grizzlies and other animal friends out in the wild. So great question to lead us off, guys.
Really good.
All right, Ms. Dumaine and Ms. Pereira, if bears only eat berries, will they die? This applies to me for chocolate chip cookies as well. So I really want to know, Brett, what's the deal with bears and berries?
Yeah, so too much of a good thing can sometimes be a bad thing, right? But grizzly bears they don't just eat berries all the time. It's one of their favorite food sources out here. But like I was saying earlier, about 90% of their diet is that kind of vegetables and like fruit. So the plant species and the berry species. And berries will only pop out in certain times of the year, kind of that late June, July, early August. So other than that very specific time, bears will kind of eat a lot of other grasses, shrubs, roots. They do have a very varied diet, but they will only eat those berries in specific times of the year. So
yeah, you don't want too much of a good thing. And this is true for us
Yeah.
too. Bears are very similar to people in that they're omnivores. They need a little bit of everything, just like you
Exactly.
should eat one of anything. Neither should bears. So great question, guys.
yeah, great question.
All right, Miss Riddle's class. Do grizzlies swim? What's the deal? We got this big lake behind you in the picture. Could they swim across that?
They definitely do swim. If you go out in August on a very, very hot day, they will just play in the water. They're just out there to cool down. One thing I'll say, I think one of my coolest bear encounters that I've had out here is I was on a hike. This wasn't in water, but there was just a bear sitting on his butt underneath a tree, surrounded by like shrubs, and he had a leaf hanging from his mouth. He did not want to be bothered at all. Hiked right past him. He stood completely still with this leaf there. And we just walked right by him, continued on our hike, and he was still just eating berries in the same spot. They're lazy animals. They don't like to burn calories. So if they can find a nice, cool swimming pool in the summer, they will definitely go out for a swim.
I would love to see something like that. That would be amazing. So I hope all our students get
Pretty
that
cool.
chance. Very cool. All right, Miss Wilson and Miss Reed's class, they got a bunch of questions, but one really good one. How many grizzlies are in Waterton? Do you keep a tally? What's the deal?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a hard question to answer. We have tracked about 30 grizzly bears that spend time in Waterton, but because our park is so small, they actually don't live their entire life in just this location. We're an international peace park with a Glacier National Park in Montana. So lots of the grizzly bears will spend part of their time in Montana, spend part of their time up here. They'll also move to other mountain ranges near us, like the Castle Range. They like to wander. So 30 move in and out of the park, but none of them spend their entire life here.
Yeah, it's a really challenging question. I love when we get queries like this because tracking even a big animal over a landscape the scale of Waterton Lakes is really, really tricky. We don't know how many blue whales there are in the world, and they're the biggest animal to ever have existed ever, bigger than all the dinosaurs. So there's a lot of world out there, and the more scientists we have, the more people that are out there making sure that we know a little bit more, the better we'll all be to equip to answer those questions. So great query.
About
guys.
that question, I do just want to throw one plug out there for a nonprofit organization called the Yukon to Yellowstone.
Yes.
They're a group that is working to create an uninterrupted land corridor between Yellowstone National Park all the way up to the Yukon, just so that we can have this unfragmented space for these grizzly bears to roam.
I'm trying to find, there it is. It's y2y.net. And I'm going to put that in the chat for everybody because it's just an incredible initiative. We featured it in a variety of things over our history. So I really encourage you, check out Yukon to Yellowstone or Yellowstone to Yukon. It's a really
super cool.
Yeah. All right. Great questions coming in all over the place. Man, there's so many. There's more than we could possibly answer in one broadcast, which is a great problem to have, kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Will grizzly bears fight for food? If there's, a big patch of the best berries and all 30 show up at the same time, what's going to happen?
You won't really see them fighting over berries, but they will fight over a carcass, and they will defend a carcass pretty prevalently. Yeah. So if like a carcass from a deer has passed away, a grizzly bear will sit on top of that and stake claim to it and will fight other animals that come near. So if there is a carcass out in the wild, my best advice to you folks is probably turn around on your hike, because chances are there's going to be a bear or other large mammals near.
Yeah.
So yeah, they will fight.
Good bit of advice. We've actually had a lot of trail safety and programs with Peak Discovery Series in the past. So again, if you want to learn more about how you can stay safe when you're out in the wilds, our YouTube channel is your one-stop shop for just that. We have got, I'm going to take just a few more here, but time flies and you're having fun. We are nearing the end of our broadcast. But a couple people want to know, why do grizzlies have the hunchback? What's the deal with that, big guy?
Yeah, so like anything, if you're just doing bicep curls all day, you're going to get a really big bicep muscle. If you're walking around all day, you're going to get really big leg muscles. Same thing with the grizzly bear. They really like to dig for their food. If you saw those claws earlier, they have really big claws, and those are meant for digging. So they'll flip rocks over, they'll dig up roots. They're doing a lot of digging. And that muscle that they're working is like their kind of back shoulder muscles. So all that hump is just a big, massive muscle that they've developed over years of digging.
Yeah, perfect. We've actually never had that question in a bear program before, which is kind of wild. So thank you very much.
It's a great question.
It is. All right, easy one. How long do grizzly bears live? Is there a timeline on them?
Oh, man. This is something I really should have looked up before popping on here and talk to you guys about grizzlies. I cannot give you an honest answer of how long grizzlies live.
Google was the best. I found out.
Okay, what is it?
It's 25 to 35 years are your partners at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So a lot less than people, but pretty long for animals. Most creatures don't live that long. In the scheme of things, it always seems to be a big surprise for folks how long animals live. So even a big, powerful animal like a grizzly bear in the 20 to 30-year range is sort of your bread and butter answer. So great query.
Yeah, I was going to guess 20, so that's a bit longer than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I love when we can stump the expert. That's half the fun anyway. And by the way, it's really funny. We do a lot of programs on animals, of course, and these sorts of questions are really common, but they are tricky. Most biologists, most ecosystem folks, most amazing folks that we bring on for parks, we don't walk around knowing all the nitty-gritty details of how long things live or exactly how much they weigh. It's really cool stuff. And when I was your age, I was right there with you. I knew all those facts. It's the best. Brent, we could chat all day about grizzlies. I'm going to encourage our classes to head to the Peak Discovery Series, the amazing Waterton Lakes site, to learn even more as well. But is there any last message you want to leave our classes with before we say a big thank you and farewell today?
Definitely. If you're out this summer or any time traveling to these national parks or just out in nature in general and you see any wildlife, please just give it space. You are out in their habitat, you're out in their home, and they get stressed when people are around. So just give wildlife their space. Don't get too close. What I like to do is I have what's called the rule of thumb. I put my thumb out there, and if the animal is bigger than my thumb, as I pointed out, I'm too close to that animal and I need to back up. So just stay safe out there and don't get too close to the bears.
And frankly, if you see a grizzly from 400 yards off, it is unbelievably majestic and amazing to see something like that from that distance. You're keeping the animal safe. There's no stress. So I promise, if you're ever in a position to go to Waterton Lakes or another one of the amazing mountain parks and you see a grizzly or any of the other charismatic big wildlife there, distance is just fine. They're just incredible, incredible creatures, and you will be amazed at that opportunity. So, Brett, thank you so much for your time, passion, expertise, everything today. We are going to wrap up there, say a big farewell to all of you in Canada, the U.S., Spain, Nicaragua, Barcelona, all sorts of amazing places. And we hope to see you back soon for more Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you so, so much.